Good evening, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people. Today is July 2nd, 2022, and I have a very important watch time that I am seeing next, and I'm going to explain to you how I have come to July 13th through July 16th, a number of very important signs that come together on these days. It is still connected to the sign of Jonah, but we need to consider a number of different things that are taking place in the world, and we need to consider how all of these signs come together. Okay, and there's going to be a conjunction of signs that lead from June 30th and July 1st to July 13th through July 16th, and I want to explain this to you now. Okay, so as we were watching the sign of Jonah, as I mentioned in my previous videos, we were watching Pentecost on June 11th, June 12th, and June 13th. Then when that went by, the Lord very clearly put it into my heart that we need to consider on the Hebrew calendar and the beginning of summer, June 30th and July 1st. And this was all connected to the sign of Jonah from June 11th, 2021, the first day of Tammuz. And then we have the first day of Tammuz in 2022 is June 30th. As we looked at June 30th and July 1st, we saw all of these signs that came together, very important markers. And we have the sign of Jonah that takes us to June 30th, 2022. This is the 7-year anniversary of the Star of Bethlehem, again on the Gregorian calendar, the 7-year warning from the Star of Bethlehem, June 30th, 2015. Then we have the end of the planet parade on June 30th, July 1st. We have a 7 or a 10-day warning from the first toddler vaccinations that take place in the United States. And one of the things that I want to be focusing on and watching is when is Israel going to begin their toddler vaccinations. I know that they have said that now that the United States has begun and now that the CDC has authorized vaccinations for toddlers, they are also going to be following in suit. So we need to watch that. That's one of the items that I have not looked into it yet as to when Israel will begin that, but I'm wondering if that will also line up with this upcoming watch time from July 13th through July 16th. Then we have the calm before the storm. This came out on June 24th, June 23rd, June 24th, just as Roe versus Wade was coming out, and then they pledged there are going to be nights of rage, and basically civil unrest is going to begin in the United States because of this. Now, all of this, I looked at July 1st as this very important marker that could be the division of Israel. For the first time since 1967, Judea, Samaria may no longer be a part of Israel. So I haven't seen what took place today on that, but I did look for information and I didn't see anything being shared. I don't know if this is even a big deal in Israel or if they're watching this as an important marker. I do know that Israel's government has been dissolved, and we have Yair Lapid has come in as the new interim prime minister until the new elections are going to be taking place in November. And so the Israel's government they're still without a government, and they're going into their 5th elections in the last 3 years. So there's basically all of this information that we've been watching over the last number of days is all coming together, and all of the signs that we were watching, there were so many significant signs pointing to June 30th and July 1st. And as I mentioned, the scripture that the Lord put into my heart is that we need to watch summer. This is what Jesus told us to watch for in Matthew 24:32 and 33. Now learn a parable of the fig tree when his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves. Ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. And so we have this connection to the month of Tammuz. This is the fourth month in the Hebrew calendar, and this is the beginning of the season of the summer. Tammuz also marks the month where the beginning of the destruction of the holy temples in Jerusalem. They have the siege of Jerusalem that takes place in the fourth month, the famine that begins in the fourth month, and then this goes into the fifth month and the destruction of both temples on the 9th and 10th and 11th of Av, between the first and second temples being destroyed in this exact time frame. Summer are the months where the destructions of Jerusalem and the Holy Temple took place. And so these are the months that the Lord told us to watch for in the Gospel of Matthew. Okay, so now I want to look at the second sign of Jonah, and you are going to be amazed at everything that goes together with this. Okay, so this is not one sign set aside by itself, but as we consider everything that goes together with this, you are going to be amazed at how everything is going to connect with July 13th through July 16th. Now, the second sign of Jonah was this Surfside condo collapse, and the boy Jonah, who was 15 a year ago, who is now 16, and the victims are reflecting on the Surfside condo collapse, focus on healing. This was an interview they did in 2022, 1 year later. And this accident and the saving of the boy Jonah happened on June 24th, 2021. On that day on the Hebrew calendar, it was the 14th day of Tammuz. And the 14th day of Tammuz in 2022 is Wednesday, July 13th. Now, here is this next connection that takes us exactly to the same day, is the Star of Bethlehem from 2015 on the Gregorian calendar was June 30th, 2015. But if we go to the Hebrew calendar, it's the 14th of Tammuz, 5775. Now, if we go to the 14th of Tammuz in 2022, it's Wednesday, July 13th, exactly the 1 year anniversary of the saving of Jonah at the condo in Miami. Okay, so we have two things pointing here to July 13th, and this is just the beginning. On July 14th, we have a huge comet that will make its closest approach to Earth. And this is one of the farthest active comets ever spotted. It will make its closest approach to Earth on July 14th, and I found some amazing information that goes together with this. This is comet K2 C2017 Pan-STARRS, and I looked up July 14th on the day that it will be closest to Earth and look at the location of 2017 K2 Pan-STARRS exactly in the constellation of Ophiuchus. This is the serpent bearer. This is the one who is casting out the dragon. This is a very important heavenly sign. You see the dragon there with the crown on his head above Ophiuchus, and you see that this is Michael standing up, casting out the dragon. This is a very important sign. This comet being exactly in this location on its closest approach to Earth is a very important sign. Now, look at what else we have connected to this. Now, let's take a look at the discovery date of C2017 K2 Pan-STARRS was discovered on May 21st, 2017. There is a very clear and very powerful message that goes together with this. If we go from Sunday, May 21st, 2017, the day that this comet was discovered, and we go to its closest approach to Earth on July 14th, 2022, it's 1,880 days. Now, 1,880 in the New Testament Greek Strong's Concordance means to return. To return, I return, come back again. It is used twice in the Gospels. And these are the two verses where it is used. Luke 10:35, the next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. This is the parable of the Good Samaritan, and he left the Good Samaritan in the inn. He gave him some money, and he said, look after him, and when I return, I will reimburse you. I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. Luke 10:35, when I return. The second time this is used is in Luke 19:15. It says, he was made king, however, and returned home. Then he sent for the servants to whom he had given the money in order to find out what they had gained with it. And he came back to ask them to give of the talents that he had left them with. And the king returned, and when the king returned home, he sent for the servants to whom he had given the money in order to find out what he had gained with it. So the idea of 1880, which is the number of days from the discovery of this comet to its actual approach to Earth, is to return. I return. When I return, I will reimburse you. And he was made king and returned home, and then he sent to the servants to require of them what they had gained with their talents. I believe this is an amazing and very, very powerful sign of this comet that is coming closest to Earth on July 14th, connected to these other pieces of information. The next thing we see connected to this is that July 13th is a supermoon, a full supermoon, and it will be the biggest and brightest of 2022, July 13th, 2022. Proverbs 7:19 through 20. My husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He took his purse filled with money and will not be home till full moon. Okay, so even the full moon talks about the return of the husbandman. And this comet coming on the full moon, the whole meaning of the comet is about the return. I return, I will come back again. And then we see that the husband returns on the full moon. And so this is a very important conjoining of signs between the comet and the full moon together. And the message on both of them is the returning of the husbandman. Then if we take a look of July 13th and the location of the full moon, where it will be on July 13th, the day of the full supermoon, the biggest and brightest of 2022, it's in the constellation of Sagittarius. Now, according to E.W. Bullinger and the Witness of the Stars book that was written, Sagittarius means the Redeemer's triumph. This is the concluding chapter of the first great book of this heavenly revelation, and it is occupied wholly with the triumph of the coming one who is represented as going forth, conquering and to conquer. And so we have one more signal, one more sign, one more connection to this idea of the coming one. I return. I will return. And the good man returns at the full moon. And this is the triumph of the coming one. This is the location of the full moon of July 13th in Sagittarius. And this is also connecting us exactly with the 3 days from July 13th through July 16th that Joe Biden will travel to the Middle East, and he will make stops in Israel and the West Bank, and then Saudi Arabia, where he will seek to rebuild relations just after a year after vowing to make the kingdom a pariah. A pariah, if you look up the word pariah, it means an outcast. So what was he trying to say there? He'll seek to build relations after vowing to make the kingdom of Saudi Arabia a pariah, an outcast. Why didn't they put the word outcast, if that's what pariah means. Because most people don't know what the word pariah means, but why would he call the kingdom of Saudi Arabia an outcast? So there's something happening here, and he's looking to rebuild relations, and this whole connection to Israel, the West Bank, Saudi Arabia, July 13th through 16th. The president's travels will have him in the region July 13th through 16th, and he'll meet with more than a dozen of his counterparts. A senior administration official said the final leg of the trip in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, could shape the administration's goals in the region for the rest of the year and 2023, the official said. Luke 21:25. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity the sea and the waves roaring. So this trip by Joe Biden to Israel, West Bank, and Saudi Arabia is connected to the 1-year anniversary of the saving of Jonah Handler in the condo collapse in Miami. On the Hebrew calendar, the 14th of Tammuz is July 13th. We have the 7-year anniversary of the Bethlehem Star on the Hebrew calendar, 14th of Tammuz, July 13th, 2022. This is the same time that this comet is passing by Earth. That's going to be in the serpent bearer Michael, who's throwing out the dragon on July 14th. The message of the comet is to return, I come back again. Connected to the full moon, when the husbandman returns on the full moon. And it's connected to the full moon in Sagittarius, which is the triumph of the coming one, represented as going forth, conquering, and to conquer. Now, also connected to the days of Joe Biden being in Israel, the West Bank, and Saudi Arabia, on July 15th, we have a conjunction of the moon and Saturn. And Saturn is the one who wants to devour the children, Saturnalia, and the whole message of the myth, the Greek myth, and the history and the mythology behind Saturn is the one that devours the children. And the moon is conjoined with Saturn on July 15th. And then we have on July 16th, and this is a very important sign that goes together with this. I found information. I was looking up astronomy events for July, and I found this very interesting and important sign that on Saturday, July 16th, the last day of Joe Biden's trip to Israel and the Middle East, Jupiter enters the evening sky. So Jupiter has been a morning star since, I think, the beginning of January, and now it is going back into the evening sky. This report came out and showed that at midnight it's going to be returning on July 16th. At midnight, Jupiter enters the evening sky. So Jupiter will no longer be a morning star. Jupiter will be an evening star starting once again on July 16th. And Jupiter on July 16th at midnight is going to be right in between the constellations of Pisces and Cetus, the sea monster. And Mars is in this picture also, and this represents the battle for the left behind. As the vertical fish are going up, we have the horizontal fish that are left behind. We have the battle for the left behind with the planet of Mars, and Jupiter is the man-child wrestling with the sea beast. And so we have a very important location also, and the message behind Jupiter going back into the evening at midnight on July 16th. And what does this message of midnight bring to mind? We welcome the Lord at midnight. At midnight, there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom comes, go out to meet him. Matthew 25:6. So just a quick summary. We have all of these important signs that were leading us to June 30th and July 1st. We very diligently followed all of these signs, watching for any events that could be happening, or quite possibly the rapture of the church between June 30th and July 1st, between the sign of Jonah, the Star of Bethlehem, the end of the planet parade, a 7 or 10 day warning from the first vaccinations of the toddlers. And then we have the Nights of Rage coming with Roe versus Wade, connected with this vote that was taking place in Israel on July 1st. The arrival of summer in the 4th month of Tammuz. Ye know that summer is nigh, just as Jesus told us to watch summer. For all of these things that could take place, know that it is near, even at the doors. Summer is nigh. Tammuz is the month when all of the destructions of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem begins. Summer begins in the month of Tammuz. And then we have this connection to the second sign of Jonah, which on the Hebrew calendar was the 14th day of Tammuz. And in 2022, it's July 13th. The Star of Bethlehem on the Hebrew calendar, the 7-year anniversary is July 13th. The closest approach of Comet 2017 K2 Pan-STARRS is July 14th. 2017 K2 Pan-STARRS is going to be exactly in Ophiuchus on closest approach to Earth. Michael is the one who's casting out the dragon, and this is a very incredible and most important sign where this comet will be on this day. The meaning of the comet is to return, I come back again. Both of these texts connected to this number, 1880, are so important with the return of Jesus Christ to gather what is his. All of this connected to the full moon and the husband returning on the full moon, connected to Sagittarius, representing the Redeemer's triumph, the triumph of the coming one who is represented as going forth conquering and to conquer. Connected to the days exactly that Joe Biden is going to be in Israel and the Middle East. The moon conjoined with Saturn on July 15th and Jupiter entering the evening sky on July 16th at midnight. At midnight, there was a cry made, "Behold, the bridegroom comes, go out to meet him." So at the end of yesterday and throughout the day today, I was very thoughtful, prayerful, considering all of these things, and I did not fully understand or want to even follow the second sign of Jonah. But as I began looking at how all of these things come together, there's no doubt in my mind that we need to be watching July 13th through 16th. I cannot say that this is the end of the road and this is going to be the rapture of the church on these days. But what I can say is that there are going to be very important signs that we need to consider and watch for. It could be at any time. We know that we have come, really, we are at the end of the road. The rapture is going to happen very, very soon. This could be the timing of the rapture of the church, but we do not know. And so all we can do is follow the signs, watch all of these things, how they can join together during these days. And this is what I wanted to bring forth to you. And so the reason I am able to stay on my wall here and continue to watch is because I've tried to be very careful at each watch date to not make any specific declarations. We're trying to understand what we're watching for the return of Jesus Christ. I try to stay away from absolute declaration. The rapture has to happen on June 30th or has to happen on July 1st. We do not know. All we can do is watch. And so that gives me the strength to continue on, because I know that in my heart I'm not making false declarations. I'm not disappointing the people. I know we want to get out of here. I know we want to, have the rapture happen as quick as possible. But from my perspective, what I'm doing is I'm following the signs and I'm staying away. Okay, I know in the past I've fallen into that where absolutely this has to be it. And I've been through that. I've been watching for a long, long time. And I know that God is not telling us the exact day ahead of time, but he is showing us signs. Now, I do believe that he can come and probably will come on one of these groups of signs that he is giving to us. Okay, so that's why I am able to continue on. I mean, we've passed one day. July 1st has gone past. There's got to be an understanding. Where do we go from here? And so this is the understanding that I am receiving. I know that there's a lot of information coming out about July 4th, July 5th, and things like that, but I don't want to get into that. I don't think that's where it's going to be ending. I know CERN is coming online at its strongest accelerated point on July 5th. But I think that there's going to be just a little bit more time beyond that. So I don't want to focus on too many, every day being a watch day. I think that there's a reasonable interval here that is going to be taking us to July 13th through July 16th. And this is what I wanted to share with you. So that's all I'm going to be sharing for right now. I will continue to search for other things that goes together with all of this, and I will bring you updates as I see. So I thank you for standing with us. Thank you for praying that the Lord would continue to give us wisdom and understanding, and that we could continue to remain faithful to this call that God has given to bring forth the signs of his coming revealed and to be a trumpet for his people. So I pray you are blessed tonight. This is Steve Fletcher, a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.